Wow, it looks so good.
Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca, and in this video, I'm going to try to self-publish a book in under 2 weeks. Something I've always wanted to try is self-publishing a children's book. It's a project I've been considering more recently since I now have a child of my own. I can make stories for him, so making a book for him was something I was considering, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to go about creating the book. Thankfully, the sponsors of this video, Gelato, are going to help make this book a reality. In a recent video, I started a new pod store of gelato. If you don't know, print on demand, or pod, is a business model where products are made only after a customer orders. This eliminates inventory and also cuts down waste and upfront costs. So a customer orders from my site, and Gelato handles the rest. Gelato is really cool because it's the world's largest print on demand network. It has over 140 production hubs in 32 countries. I run my shop of Gelato because its print-on-demand platform combines global reach with local production. When a customer orders from my shop, Gelato routes the job to the nearest certified print partner so that the order is produced locally, which means faster delivery, lower shipping costs for customers, and a smaller carbon footprint. I have to say, running my online shop of Gelato has been a breeze. I really enjoyed it, and thank you so much to everyone who has supported the shop. Anyways, if you saw this video, you know Gelato offers tons of products and that I was super happy with my art prints, as well as the canvas that featured my art. And while Gelato also offers photo books, and they look pretty fancy, there are hard and soft cover options that come in 7 formats and sizes. You can have up to 200 pages and there are options for different layouts. And I love that I can use the design studio to easily lay out my book. But before we can lay everything out, we need the content to fill the book. Also, it's in the title and I said it in the intro, but yeah, I needed to get this book done in 2 weeks so that it could be done in time for this video. Thankfully, a while back, I had actually written a short poem about my high-risk pregnancy and the experiences Mini Manga and I had. To give you an idea of the writing, the first line is, "Little one, when I knew you were near, my heart filled with joy, my eyes with a tear." Another line is, "You didn't have it easy, not from the start. Wires and machines tried to keep us apart." We will read the whole thing at the end, but you get the idea. So once I had everything written, I went into Gelato's design studio and started laying out all of the text so that I could have an idea of the layout for the art. This part took a lot of trial and error. I'm glad that the design studio makes it easy to move and change things around. Whenever I have self-published books in the past, I would always have to worry about printing guidelines and measurements, and it was always kind of a headache. But the design studio made it much less stressful, and it was so nice. While laying out the text, I was trying to keep in mind the pacing of the book and which parts I wanted to include illustrations for. I was also trying to make it spread out to 30 pages since that is the minimum amount of pages you need to have. It's not a super long poem, so it was a little tricky, but I was able to find a layout that felt good to me and met the page requirements. Yay! So now we can make the art. To make the art, I'll be using my usual drawing program, Clip Studio Paint. I made a canvas that is 8 inches by 16 inches, so it's a similar ratio to the book. I also brought in a screenshot of the book guidelines to help me. However, I'm not going to worry about placement too much in the canvas because I will save the individual elements as their own file and then place them into the book in Gelato Studio. Drawing everything in this canvas is just to help me make the art around the proper size, but it doesn't need to be super exact. I contemplated a lot on what kind of style I wanted for this book. I wanted the characters in it to feel like they could represent other moms and their babies, not just me and Mini Manga. I felt like if the characters were humans with specific characteristics, that would be harder to relate to. So instead of using humans, I decided to go with animal characters, specifically hedgehogs. Hedgehogs are my husband's favorite animal, and they've always been one of my favorite animals as well. So they are kind of special to our family. We have a lot of hedgehog items around the house. Because of this, hedgehogs felt like a good fit for the book and the characters. I don't draw animal characters very often, so I was nervous about this choice. But I tried my best to not overthink it too much and just keep moving forward, especially since I had a very limited amount of time to create this art. As you can see, I'm also going with a watercolor type style for the coloring. I wanted the book to have a soft and bright feel to it, and I thought watercolor would be a good fit. As usual, I'm using my watercolor brush for this. It's available for free in the Clip Studio Paint asset library. For the book, I'm trying to keep my colors limited to these colors to keep things cohesive. However, I do also add in gray for some parts to emphasize the mood shift. To make the pages with just text more interesting, I'm going to make splotches of watercolor in the main colors I'm using, and they will be so that I can place them behind the text. That way the pages that are just text don't feel empty, and they can coordinate with the other pages that have art on them. For the art, I also tried to focus on not just drawing the hedgehog characters. I tried to include other items to add diversity, and also illustrate what the words are saying. So like on this page, I'm drawing a bee next to an apple, and on the next page, I draw a seed sprouting out of the ground, because the text for these pages are, "You were so tiny, just barely a bead, but even then you are strong and grew like a seed." So the drawings kind of go along with the text. Another reason I was trying not to only draw hedgehog characters is because the characters were the most time-consuming thing to draw, but the items that go along with the text could be drawn much faster. Overall, I had 21 drawings for this book, and I think I did around 5 each day. The amount I drew depended on how complicated the drawings were and how much time mini manga gave me. For the page that mentions a doctor, I was thinking I would also make it a hedgehog, but then I thought it'd be fun to include a different animal, so I made it be a cat. At first I was going to draw just the cat coming into the room, but I felt like that didn't portray the scene correctly, so I changed it to a side shot with both the cat and the hedgehog mom. I really enjoyed drawing the doctor cat and its outfit. Up until this point, I had been drawing the hedgehog with only a skirt for its outfit, and it didn't feel weird for the other drawings, but for some reason in side view, having only the skirt felt odd, so I decided to make it be a dress instead, and I went back to the other art and changed it to be a dress as well, and I'm glad I made this change. Like I mentioned, I used gray for more sad parts to add to the feeling of sadness. For the poem, I tried to keep it very true to the experiences mini manga and I had, but I also wanted to keep it vague enough that it was relatable to many moms and babies who experience complications with pregnancy and/or birth. Also, I did consider including a dad hedgehog in the story, since my husband was also a part of all of this and he was a huge support for both mini manga and me. I don't know what I would have done without him. However, for the purpose of this book, it felt simpler to keep things from the mom's perspective, and plus I thought it would help the book feel more relatable to more family dynamics. Something I feel like I forget sometimes is how much I love using art to tell stories and how fulfilling I find it to be. Don't get me wrong, I love making illustrations, but sometimes when I finish them, I have a feeling of like, okay, cool, I finished another illustration. But then when I get to make art for stories, it's like I have all this art plus a story, and seeing it all come together feels so fulfilling. I feel like what I'm going to say next may disappoint the fans of my webcomic, but I haven't been able to work on it like at all. I have to script out the exact dialogues and scenes I want for the final chapter. I mostly haven't been working on it because I don't have much time to, but I also feel like I have a mental block. I'm so excited that I'm finally making the final chapter, but at the same time, it's like my brain isn't ready to say goodbye yet, and therefore it doesn't want to create the ending. I know how I want the story to end, but when it comes to planning out the specifics, for some reason I just can't. I've been trying really hard to. Because of this, I haven't been able to make much art that's for a story, and I feel like that's something I've missed with my work, and working on this short story reminded me of that. It has kind of rekindled my love for making art that goes along with a story, and it makes me want to finish my webcomic, not only so that I can make more art that goes with a story, but also so that I can work on my other story projects. I think possibly for my next video, I'm going to base it around the creation process of my webcomic so that I can both get a video done, but also work on my webcomic. It might be a little tricky because I don't want to spoil things, but we'll see if I can make it work. And if you don't know, my webcomic is called My Next Door Neighbors, and I post it here on YouTube. It has its own channel. Also, I do have a chapter done for it that has not been posted yet, and I plan to hopefully post it in December, so be on the lookout for that over on my webcomic channel. I have to say, I love drawing the little hedgehog that's a slightly older baby. I feel like it's so cute. I was a little unsure on how I wanted to stylize it, I didn't want the quills to be too prominent yet, so I decided to not color them in and just make them be a little bit spiky. I was nervous to draw all the different poses of the mom interacting with the baby, but I feel like it turned out pretty cute. I was thinking about me and mini manga a lot while drawing these and trying to capture the feelings that I feel. But you know, show all of that through cartoony little hedgehogs. So after all the art was done, I took each art piece and made it its own canvas. And then I saved it as its own file. I did this for all of the art pieces, which was a little tedious, but it probably only took like 20 minutes or so. Once I had the files all saved, I imported them into Gelato Studio and began the process of putting the book together. Like I said before, I love how easily I'm able to lay out the book in Gelato. I also loved that Gelato has guides to help you center things on the pages and also to help things line up with one another. It's so convenient. Also, I did include a page with a message from me at the end. And on the very back page, I included my website to where people can find more of my work. And I also designed the cover. I mostly just reused art from the book for this. And so yeah, now the book was ready and we can move on to the mock-ups. This is another lovely Gelato feature. Next was the detail section, and I just typed out the details for the book that will appear on my store. Next was deciding on price. I kind of just played around with numbers until I found a price that felt fair for the buyer and for myself. Then we just review the details and hit publish, and it will appear on my shop. Also for my shop, I connected Gelato to my Squarespace website. I mentioned this in my last video. It was super easy and only took like one click. Also, if you want to create your own books or an online shop, I highly recommend checking out Gelato. You can try Gelato for free and get 50% off your first purchase if made within 2 days of creating your account. There is a link in the description and pinned comment down below. And so now that the book was done and listed on my site, it was now time to order a sample. So let's take a look at how it turned out.
Okay, so the book has finally arrived. I'm super excited to see it. Ta-da! Ooh! It's always so interesting seeing something you made digitally in physical form. Wow, it looks so good. I love the feeling of it. It has like a matte, soft touch finish. I really like it. Okay, so let's read the book. My Strong Little One. This book is dedicated to my loving husband and our strong baby boy. Little one, when I knew you were near, my heart filled with joy, my eyes with a tear. You were so tiny, just barely a bead, but even then you were strong and grew like a seed. I watched you grow day after day and felt your strong kicks as you started to play. But one day the doctor came in with a frown, and suddenly everything turned upside down. The news made me worry, it filled me with fear. But you stayed strong, my brave little dear. You kept on growing, you held on tight, and soon you were born, a beautiful sight. You didn't have it easy, not from the start. Wires and machines tried to keep us apart. I worried again, it's what I do. But strong little one, I believed in you. Each time I saw you, so small yet so bold, your strength was something I yearned to behold. Day after day, the clock ticked like a metronome. But then the time came, we got to go home. You faced so much, yet still you shine. Strong little one, you're truly divine. The future's a mystery, no map to show the way, not even a compass, just the dawn of a new day. But there's something that's not a mystery, and I'll shout it loud. You're my strong little one, and I'm so very proud. The end. I'm super happy with how it turned out. The colors all look really good. The print quality is great. Like I said, I love how it feels. It has a really nice finish to it. Also, if you're curious how it prints more complicated images, here's what my profile icon looks like. And it also looks really good. The darks are super dark, and all of the gradients are super smooth. It looks super great. Out of the books that I've self-published, this one definitely feels the nicest. I am super happy with it. So yeah, that's the book.
So that is the children's book I made in under 2 weeks. It was a little bit of a crunch, but I really enjoyed the process. If you are interested in purchasing a copy, it is available on my shop. I'll put a link to it down below. Thank you so much again to Gelato for sponsoring this video. Like I said, if you want to create your own online shop or self-publish a book, you can try Gelato for free and get 50% off your first purchase if made within 2 days of creating your account. Well, that is all for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!